What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Scooteasy, and today we are back with another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at how Pokemon Home and the Pokemon coming in with Pokemon Home will affect VGC. Now, I think it is pretty important to keep in mind when we look at these Pokemon that there are restricted Pokemon and non-restricted Pokemon. I highly doubt that we're going to be getting any restricted Pokemon in the meta anytime soon. And another really important thing to look at too, I guess, is how when these are going to be introduced, right? And I think that's very important when it comes to, you know, basically talking about how good some of these Pokemon are going to be and how it factors in, right? So I think something very important to touch on first is that we will probably not be, well, we are getting Regulation D. I believe it is July 1st off memory. That is when like the new format would drop. So we are still roughly about a month or so away from the new format. Now, fingers crossed, sometime over the next week, we will be finding out what, you know, Regulation D or, you know, Series 4 is going to be, whatever it is. And guys, if you could, obviously, stick around, you know, subscribe, because we're always going to have plenty more Pokemon content, and we will be covering everything with Regulation D. We'll have teams, you know, battles, all that good stuff. Anyway, I guess I should probably touch on what I think is going to be most likely for Regulation D. So, in my opinion, I think it goes kind of one of two ways. Regulation D, there is a chance that we get, you know, something like the Paldea Prologue. The reason I say that is because the next format is going to be Worlds, right? We're almost certain Regulation D, Series 4, whatever they're going to call it, that is going to be the Worlds format. And I highly doubt that the first Worlds is going to be played on anything other than regional decks. Now, obviously, you know, Crydon, Rhydon, basically perfect with the Paradox Mons. It's where the synergy comes in. So I would, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, the Paldea Prologue. The other option too, I guess, is one of the, you know, previous formats, maybe something like, you know, Series 1, Series 2, something like that. I highly doubt, you know, Series 3 stays around for another 3 months or so. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards, right? I think that we're either going to get something like, you know, maybe Series 1, potentially Series 2, maybe Paldea Prologue. That's what I think. But there's always a chance that obviously we get, you know, either maybe the home mons in there, even, you know, the Hisui mons mainly. Like, there's a chance that we could get something like Series 1 plus Hisui, you know, no Paradox mons and no Ruin mons. I think that would be a really cool format. But anyway, boys, with that being said, let's jump into, you know, I guess let's just talk about what I think is going to be the good mons basically coming in, right? So if we look here, these are all the transferable mons, you know, thanks to Sarah B for, you know, giving us all the information. But yeah, basically, oh, that music seems a bit loud. Let me turn that down a little bit, sorry. So basically, right, we have a few pretty decent mons coming in, right? So I don't necessarily think the Charizard line is going to be all that. When it comes to the legendary birds from Kanto, I do think Zapdos is probably the only one who's going to be somewhat relevant. So we'll pull that up here. We got Zapdos. What does Zapdos do? Zapdos is a pretty, you know, it's got a pretty good typing, and it does a few things pretty well, right? You know, it's got Disquake spam. Obviously, it's really good at that. It's off the ground. It can click Disquake. It's also really good in the rain, too. You have things like Thunder and Hurricanes. Like, in the rain, this thing can be a monster. It also has Tailwind. And its ability, the main one you probably want to use is Static. And it has a really decent speed stat. At 100 base speed, you don't have to run much speed on this thing at all for it to actually be half decent. And, of course, you know, everyone talks about it. Bolt Beam coverage is, like, the perfect coverage. You can run Terra Ice on this thing with, like, you know, Terra Blast. And it's pretty damn good. I definitely think it will have a place in any meta it's available in. But if it's like a restricted format, maybe it's not that great. But maybe in like, you know, a regional Dex plus home, it could be pretty damn good. So keep scrolling down here. Maybe Moltres has a place. You know, Flame Body's a decent ability, but I don't think Idorana and Akuto are that good. Mewtwo, even in a restricted format's not that great. Mythicals are like almost never allowed, so I'd highly doubt it if Mew was ever viable. Typhlosion is completely outclassed by its counterpart, which we'll talk about later. The Hoenn Weather Trio, obviously a fantastic trio. Again, I don't think we're going to be getting the restricted decks probably until the last year of Scarlet and Violet. Probably, if I had to guess, 2025. But obviously they're fantastic. Kyogre, the best rain setter. Groudon has got some, he's pretty contested now for the Sun, but we're not going to know who the better Sun setter is until we get a format. And Ray, you know, with Airlock is just fantastic. You know, 3 really good mons that'll all be really, really damn good when the restricted ones come out. I don't necessarily see the Lake Trio being any good. Dialga and Palkia can be pretty interesting. Palkia, like, they both got, like, incredibly good defensive typings. And the ability to pair that with Terra is, like, fantastic. But again, them plus Giratina, I don't think they're going to be around for a hot minute. Heatran is actually a pretty cool Pokemon too, because like Heatran has got like an insane defensive typing, and it has like, you know, Flash Fire is fantastic, and then on top of that, it also has Eruption. Like having Eruption, obviously it says it's illegal, but having an Eruption Pokemon I think is fantastic. And again, Terra, like this thing's super weak to ground moves. Just slap a Terra Flying on it. Where are you? Terra Flying, yeah, bang. Slap Terra Flying on this thing, and I think it's pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, Terra Flying's pretty damn good on this thing. Who else do we have? Obviously Cress. Everyone knows Cress. Cress is good in like every meta it's in. Basically, Cresselia, it's got Levitate. Its stats are insane. Really good HP, really good defense. You know, it has access to things like Trick Room. Has access to like Calm Mind. Oh, that's not Calm Mind, Scott. Calm Mind. I think it also gets like Stored Power too. Yeah, like this one can be like an absolute menace. And again, with Terra, like getting rid of some of its weaknesses, you know, I don't know what you want to run on this, but like you're a steel type, right? So again, you could go, sorry, you're a steel type, you've got Levitate, so you go for things like steel, fire, poison, basically what Hydreigon used to run back in Series 1. Continue further down the line, Arceus is not that relevant. Samurott, this form of Samurott definitely not relevant. Again, we'll talk about its Hisuian form later. The next three, everyone's favorites. Now, obviously, the genies, the 4 genies now too. These are probably the most important Pokemon, I'd say, for, you know, the upcoming meta, right? Like, if they're allowed, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna be really strong. So obviously you got Lando, you got Lando T, you got Thundurus, Thundurus T, and so on, right? We'll just pull them all up here. Thundurus T, Torn, and Torn T. So, what do these mons do? So, Lando I, obviously, this mon is like fantastic, right? It has a lot of damage, blah, blah, blah. It's really damn good, you know? It's got Sand Force, it's got Sheer Force. This mon is pretty damn good, but it's almost never worth running this thing, right? Why? Because you've got Landorus, Therian, the GOAT, man. This mon, doesn't matter if it's singles, doubles, this mon's the GOAT. It's got, you know, Intimidate. Again, this mon has Terra now. Terra on this thing's going to be huge. Why? It's never had a good flying move. Dude, like, look at this. 145, man, this is insane. You know, it's got Intimidate. You know, it's got, like, Earthquake. Man, that's Earth Power, Scott. It's got Earthquake. This thing, you know, again, you talk about like Terra Blast, and again, you can run it like many different Terras. It's got Rock Slide. This one is just fantastic. You got U-turn as well for pivoting. Like this mon with AV is like insane. Like really decent HP stat. Like insane attack. Look at that attack stat. Insane. Like really, really damn good. Thundurus, obviously, Thundurus I has got Prankster. Look, it's pretty damn good. I don't think this one doesn't get Tailwind, does it? No. So this one gets like Thunder Wave. You know, you got that, the Ray Rizzo stuff. Where is Thunder Wave? Thundershock, that's, yeah. So Thunder Wave, you know, it's got like Thunder Wave, you got like Swagger, you know, really, really good support mon with like fantastic offensive typing as well. Like really good speed, really good special attack. You know, again, this thing could run something like, you know, the classic Bolt Beam, right? Like really good offensive stats paired with, you know, Prankster, fantastic. This Thundurus T probably not getting that much play, but Torn Eye is a Pokemon I'm super excited for. Anyone who doesn't know, I love Tailwind, I love HO, and Torn T is my guy. Why? Because he is, if they come out, right, if they release these Pokemon before, you know, any DLC or anything, this is going to be, without a doubt, the best Prankster Tailwind user we got. Like, you look at some of the coverage he also has, right? So you got like Bleak Wind Storm, right? Pretty decent move. You know, you got Air Slash as well, Icy Wind. It's got some pretty nice stuff, right? But then you've also got like, where's Status? Status. There we go. It's also got just like some fantastic support moves, right? Again, you know, you've got like the bulk up stuff. You got Taunt. Like Taunt and Tailwind is like such a good combo, and then you just pair that up with, you know, like maybe a Bleak Wind Storm, anything else here, this could be Protect, whatever. And then again, you got Terrasilize, right? Like you can get rid of your weaknesses, right? You're weak to Ice, you're weak to Electric. You know, go Terra Steel, go Terra Ground, Terra Grass, whatever, you know, whatever you want, whatever you think fits this Pokemon, yeah? And again, like this is a safety goggles mon, right? This likes safety goggles so it doesn't get slept. Just go like Terra Grass and you don't need safety goggles anymore. Fantastic. Unfortunately, Torn T, I love Torn T. It's not going to see much play. Unfortunately with these guys, there's always like that one that is better, right? Like Lando I is the play. I think Torn T is the play. Sorry, Lando T, Torn I, and then and Thundurus I are probably the better ones. But then there's the new sister in town, the first Hisuian, I guess we're going to be looking at, and that is, why can't I think of its name? Enamorus. That's the one. So you've got Enamorus. Now this mon. This is the one where I think it is without a doubt going to be the scariest when it comes to, you don't know which of its two forms is it like, I mean, obviously you know what like which of the two forms it is, but they're both really damn good, right? So if we look at this one here, right, it gets contrary. Like, why is contrary super good? Because it gets like superpower, yeah? And it's like, oh, you can't intimidate this thing? Like 115 base attack, pretty damn good. It's pretty quick. I think this thing also gets tailwind, yeah? It could be like, you could run this thing as like a bulky tailwind setter, right? You know, you like run some like special defense, a little bit of attack or something. Obviously we're level 100, that doesn't help us out here. But yeah, you see the point, yeah? With contrary, this one can be like really, really damn good. But then the one I'm more excited for personally is the Namorous T. And the reason for that is this thing is an absolute monster in Trick Room. Like, look at this thing, man. 135 special attack on like insane defenses. Like, its HP is pretty bad, but under Trick Room, you just like max this out. You like max this out. We'll drop this down to like level 100 or so, level 50. Like, you look at these defensive stats, man. It's like, this is kind of insane. Like, even if you like run that to something like there, you know, you slap, you go quiet on this set, wouldn't you? You go something like this, like drop that down. Like, you don't need defensive investment. You just go max HP, and then these defenses are insane, man. Like, this mod is insane. Overcoat 2, meaning it can't get spored, is, like, insane, right? Like, you don't care. Like, spore, nah. And then again, like, this thing on the special side, actually kind of insane, right? Like, you have a look, right? It gets Gleam, yeah, Gleam's great, you know, blah, blah, blah. It gets Moonblast, which is also really good. It gets Springtide Storm. Now, I did see people saying, like, you could go Springtide and Moonblast. I don't know about you boys. There is no way I would ever want to click an 80% move when I could click 95%, sorry, 100%, when there's only 5 base power difference. But again, you've got Mystic Fire, you've got Sludge Bomb, like you've got a lot of good moves, like Earth Power as well. Like Terra Ground on this thing with Earth Power could actually be insane. Like, I think this mon, like both these forms are like really damn good. I'm super excited to use this. Like even this set here, right? Like, you know, we spoke about, you know, using like, you know, superpower, but again, this thing's like fast with insane special attack, and it's a flying type. That's like, I didn't touch on with any of these things either, right? Flying right now is like, flying type is so damn good, but there's like no flying types in the meta right now. Like, everyone's using Gyarados and stuff like that, like, because there's nothing off the ground. When the genies come back, man, the flying types are going to be like an all-time high. Like, these are actually insane, man. Actually insane. I'm really excited for those. Meloetta, again, not really relevant. Chestnut, sadly, I don't think will be very good. Delphox, same thing. Greninja, none of them are good. Carvik, yeah, it's whatever. Deante, Hooper, and Volcanion, they could maybe do something. I don't think any of them are going to be that insane, though, if I'm telling the truth. Maybe Volcanion could be good because of its, like, skull, but yeah, I don't see them being, like, anything insane. Like, maybe Volcanion's good. You can run, like, AV, you know, Steam Eruption and whatnot. Decky Dewey, I don't think Decky Dewey is that good. Magearna, as we said before, probably not gonna be available, but, like, I guess, like, the one thing with Mag is, like, if that is allowed in VGC at, like, any point, it is insane in Trick Room. Like, Magearna in Trick Room is, like, absolutely wild. Like, again, I don't think we're gonna get it, but if you look at Soul Heart, when it like makes another Pokemon faint, it gets +1, so it's like the, you know, special Moxie, and then it's like, oh, you get this like attack called Fleur Cannon, and then you get like, you know, Flash Cannon, just 2 stab moves, insane. And on top of that, you have this insane like special attack stat, insane. Like, HP, your HP is not insane, but your defenses are insane. And your speed is like so bad that, like, again, you can run this thing like a minus nature and be like insane under Trick Room, right? You just go something like this, again, you go like quiet, and then like all of a sudden, you know, you're 63 speed. Under Trick Room, this thing is like absolutely insane, like a crazy good mon. Rillaboom is a personal favorite Pokemon of mine. It lost Grassy Glide. Maybe it's still decent. Like, this thing, like, with an AV could still be pretty damn good. But the loss of Grassy Glide is going to hurt it. Cinderace, yeah, no, not that good either. Intelligent, my guy, don't think he's all that, unfortunately. I think Rillaboom definitely is, like, the best of those. Zacian, obviously, the GOAT. Look, I don't want to touch on it too much because, again, like, we're years away from this thing being legal. But just look at those stats. Like, you give it this mon's insane. Like, Zacian, like, it was the king of last gen. Yeah, it got nerfed a little bit. I don't think those nerfs are going to matter at all. Scroll down again. Eternatus are similar to the dogs. It's not like, I mean, Eternatus could be pretty damn solid, especially with Terra, but again, it's not going to be in the meta for a hot minute. And then Urshifu. Now, these Urshifu forms, boys, I think these are actually going to be insane. Obviously, you know, you have, oh, fucking spoiler alert there. You got Urshifu Rapid and, oh, God, you got so bad. We got Rapid Strike and the Single Strike, I believe this one's called. I think they're both really good. Obviously, Urshifu Single Strike does not have to deal with, you know, the competition I think Urshifu Rapid Strike will deal with. But obviously, you know, you got Wicked Blow. Just did they nerf that? I think that used to be 85, right? I think that got nerfed. That's pretty sad if that's true. But a 75 base attack that always crits is like pretty damn good. I believe it gets Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch, yeah, it gets Sucker Punch. Obviously, you know, you run Protect, you break through your opponent's Protect, and then obviously you've got access to stuff like Close Combat. Does it get Drain Punch? Yeah, it gets Drain Punch. A lot of really good stuff. This one, like, again, with Terra, being able to get off that, like, 4x Fairy weakness is going to be really good for this Pokemon. Do you get any Steel moves? I guess is a good question. I mean, you get Iron Head. Like, that's pretty good. Like, Terra Steel Iron Head, that's, like, great for Fairies. And then Rapid Strike. Now, the cool thing with Rapid Strike is this is going to kind of take the place of something like Arzu in the meta right now. So obviously this mon does not eat Dazzling Gleams, right? And that is going to be the biggest thing with, you know, future formats is how good is Flutter Mane into these Pokemon, right? Now, again, Terra's a thing. You can go Terra Water. You can play this thing on Rain. This is, like, in my opinion, Palafin will always be good, right? Like, Palafin is too damn good, especially like even when restricteds come out. Like, it's basically restricted mon once it gets its hero form up, right? It's really, really damn good. But like, obviously Palafin right now, it takes a turn to set up so that, you know, we've seen some Rain teams recently running like Arzu because you want that turn 1 power that Arzu gives you that Palafin doesn't. And this is just going to be a better Arzu in my opinion. Like, obviously you got Surging Strike. Surging Strike is like fantastic, right? Like, I'd have to run the calcs on it, but this mon probably just picks up Chiyu turn 1. Chi and Power, sorry. Obviously takes Chiyu, you know. You're not going to be able to run these Pokemon that are like aggressive focus Astro. Even like a Flutter Mane. Like a Flutter Mane probably dies to this Surging Strike. Especially if you've got like Tailwind or some form of speed control to like obviously help you outspeed it. So yeah, I think Urshifu Rapid is going to be really damn cool. Similar to our friend before, you know, I believe it gets Aqua Jet. Yeah, it gets Aqua Jet. It gets obviously Close Combat, Protect, Drain Punch, all that good stuff. Most likely also gets access to the Iron Head too. Gets Fire Punch, Ice Spinner, Poison Jab, like Rock Slide, Trailblaze as well. Like, yeah, I think the Urshifu forms are going to be like super, super good. And I really do hope, like, I'm expecting like when, you know, when most of the home mons are allowed, I definitely think the Urshifu forms will be allowed too. And then everyone's favorite, my guy, Reggie Alecki. Now, Alecki is a mon I'm personally super excited for. It was like my favorite Pokemon released in the DLC. Obviously, you know, a lot of people hate Regieleki, because this thing's so goddamn fast. Like, look at that speed stat, man. This is insane. 200 base speed. Like, let's drop this to level 50. Let's get it to like the VGC stuff, you know. Dude, look at that. 252, man. Look, to put this in perspective for you guys, Booster Timid Bundle hits 309, yeah? This thing with Timid, like, is that damn close to a Booster Bundle. It's actually insane. Like, this is so damn quick. Transistor as well, basically being a choice specs on your electric moves is great. And then, as we kind of touched on it earlier, guys, everyone's favorite, the Bulk Beam combo. You go Thunderbolt, right? You go Volt Switch, you go Terra Blast, yeah? And your Terra Blast hits the ices and the grounds that your Electrics just doesn't. You know, this mod is like absolutely insane, right? I think it gets like Electro Web as well, right? Yeah, it gets Electro Web, so you got speed control. Do you get Eerie Impulse? Yeah, it gets Eerie Impulse as well, like a really good support move for like nerfing like things like Flutter Mane. Regieleki is going to be a absolute top tier mod when it's in the game. I'm super excited for Regieleki. Definitely probably the Pokemon I'm most excited to use, at least from the home. Actually, that's a lie. Second most excited for from the home mons. Regidraco, you're not going to get play. Glastrier actually could be pretty good, I think. This thing will basically like thrive under Trick Room, right? Chilling Neigh, like, you know, again, it's basically Moxie, right? If you get a KO, you get a, you know, a +1 in your attack stat. And if you look at this mon, really good HP. Base 100 HP is like fantastic. 130 defense is insane. 110 special defense, really damn good. 145 attack, like that's Lendo's, you know, Lendo T, man, that's crazy. And then 30 speed. This thing is so damn slow. Like if we chuck this down to level 50, you know, we go here, go back to here. You go like probably a Brave Nature on this mon. Like, look at that, 31 speed. That thing is so insanely slow. And then the best part about it, right, is like the worst thing about Glastrier is it's an Ice type, right? The Ice type is like a fantastic offensive typing, awful defensive typing, right? And like, what do you do when you get an awful defensive typing? You just terror it out. Like, I haven't thought about like what could be good on this thing yet, but you think about it, right? Like maybe fire could be good. You know, what, you're weak to fighting, you're weak to fire, you're weak to steel. You know, fire is pretty damn good. You could always go, you know, steel as well. Like steel's really damn good. You keep the fighting weakness, the fire weakness, so maybe it's not that good on it. But yeah, there's plenty of things like you could run on this mon. Even like a water could be pretty damn good. But yeah, under Trick Room, this thing will be absolutely insane. If it's allowed in a non-restricted format, which I think it would be, this mon will be absolutely insane. Then you have its brother, Poor Man's Fluttermane. Yeah, I mean, you look at it, 130 speed. I don't think you guys can actually see the 130 speed right now. But yeah, Spectre. I love Spectre. It's definitely my favorite of the... it's my favorite of the two, but I see this, and I see you're slower than Fluttermane. Therefore, I don't think you're going to get any play. Sorry. Calyrax, you won't get any play, at least not until you confuse with your boys. And then some of our Hisuian mons. Okay, so we'll start with Weird. Weird is a interesting one. I think in a non-restricted format, it'll definitely see some play because it does have this really good niche of being like, you know, an intimidator that has Trick Room. But that's basically about it. It has a really solid HP stat. Defenses are kind of bad. But like a cool thing with a mon like this is like it's pretty slow, so it can function under its own Trick Room. And you can just like invest like max HP, you know, maybe some Spadef. You go to like, I don't know, some breakpoint here. Let's just, how did I manage that? Go to some breakpoint, you know, in the attack stat. You know, maybe you go to like here, cap that out, and then you just run like Brave, right? Something like that could be good. It still hits pretty damn hard. You know, you got like, does it still get Slash Shield Bash? Yeah, it got Slide Shield Bash, which is like really cool. Obviously that, you know, missing it's kind of scary, but you could pair this with something like an Iron Hands and, you know, make sure that this outspeeds Iron Hands by like 1 speed point or something, at least under Trick Room. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're guaranteed to drop their defense stat by 1, and then you just start KOing things. Like that's pretty damn cool. I think this also gets Double Edge, right? Yeah, it gets Double Edge. Do you get any cool status moves? Status. Agility Combine. I mean, agility can be kind of cool too if you want to run it more offensive. Gets Trick. Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy here. Yeah, I mean, Hypnosis kind of cool. But yeah, nothing too insane. I think it could be decent in a non-restricted. Cleaver. I mean, Cleaver has like one thing going for it, and that is basically its signature move. Quickly, just get rid of these guys. I don't think, look, I'm kind of excited for Cleaver, especially when like hazards started picking up. Like when everyone was like playing Glamora, you know, Toxic Spikes, like Meowscarada and whatnot, I was like, oh yeah, Cleaver could actually be like pretty damn good, especially because it gets like Sheer Force and Sharpness. And then what is your move? Is it like Rock? What's it called? Stone Axes, that's the one right there. So yeah, Stone Axes is, you know, it basically sets the Stealth Rocks for you, right? Like sets the Stealth Rocks and it hits them. It gets boosted by Sharpness. It's pretty good. But yeah, I doubt this mon sees play. Like it does have, like, you look at its stats, really good attack stat. It does fire like a really good U-turn. Maybe with like Assault Vest, this thing could be decent. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be all that. And then my boy, the GOAT, the guy who takes the spot that I said Regieleki has, and that's Ursaluna. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Attack stat, 140, kind of PogChamp. We'll quickly drop this down. Okay, has Guts. Oh, that's really nice. You know, a Guts mon. That's pretty cool. This mon could function with Assault Vest, or, you know, maybe you do something like this. You run it down to there. You chuck some Spadef. You click a Brave Nature. Oh, and what do you know? This mon all of a sudden is insanely slow. Under Trick Room, it has this, like, really good move called Headlong Rush. Man, 120 base power stab move. Damn, that's pretty good. I think it gets a move called, you know, like Close Combat. Damn, another really good move. And then just like, oh, it has Double Edge. 120 base power. But guess what's even better? Yeah, than Double Edge. If you just go like this little Flame Order item, and then all of a sudden this just becomes Fachard. Yeah, 140 base power stab move coming off this with Guts boosted. Like Guts boosted puts this thing up to like 300 plus attack, man. It's like, yeah, dude, I think Ursaluna is gonna be broken, man. I'm not lying right now. You can eat Shadow Balls for days. You can go something like a Terra Steel, and your defensive typing's insane. Steel might not be the best because you keep your fighting weakness, but Ursaluna is without a doubt like the second home mon. Sorry, Hisui mons are available in Scarlet and Violet. That is going to be the first Pokemon I build around. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm going to have a team ready like weeks before the format even drops, man. I'm so excited. The next one we have here, Basculegion in singles is going to be really cool because of Last Respects. I do think it has already been like, I think Last Respects was banned. I don't think it's going to be as good in doubles. Its attack stat and speed stat just aren't what it needs to be a Swift Swimmer or an adaptability user. Sneasel, the only cool thing Sneasel has is Dire Claws. It's not Sneasel, sorry, it's Sneasler, isn't it? Yeah, so like, I mean, maybe there's some build with like Unburden where it's cool. But if you have a look at Dire Claw, like 50% chance to sleep, poison, or paralyze, that's an insane move. If you can click this thing 3 or 4 times in a battle, especially like 80 base power off like this attack stat, and like its speed's insane. If you get an Unburden boost, it's like really good. I don't think it's gonna be that good, but maybe there's a world in which Sneasel like does something. And then Overquill's interesting because like the thing with Overquill, right, is it's an Intimidate user. That's fine. Poison Point's pretty damn bad. But the main thing is it's a Swift Swim user, right? So if we just go Overquill here. Oh my god. I always fat finger when I do these videos, I swear. But if you look at it as a Swift Swim user, right, one of the cool things is it's not a water type, right? Then you have stuff like Bear Tick and whatnot that aren't water types either. But this mon on the defensive end isn't that bad. Like its HP stats okay. You know, it's like attacking stats are actually pretty damn good, especially if I make it level 850 apparently. But its speed stats nice. Like again, one of the things you really want to look at with like some of these Pokemon, right, is at +2, right, does it outspeed this beast, right? Like that's something I probably should have touched on earlier, is do you outspeed this, yeah? Do you hit that, what's that, 139 speed? If you can hit 139 speed, you're decent, yeah? Unfortunately, you can't do it with that. If we just go Jolly, yeah, so like this thing only has to hit like this to outspeed a Lecky, right? That's pretty damn good. You know, it has a really good attack stat as well. I don't know why they've dropped that down. But yeah, like it's a dark poison type. Darks are, you know, dark types are always like pretty damn good. Again, and you play this thing in like rain, right? You've got stuff like Jet, you got Tail. Does it get water? Yeah, it gets Waterfall, Poison Jab, Crunch. Like you could run this thing Terra Water in rain, and I think it could be pretty decent. I definitely think it'll see some play in rain before the restricteds. I don't know if it sees play after restricteds. It's the only issue. We touched on Amorous too. I think this mon is going to be incredibly good. Alolan Raichu. I won't touch too much on this. Its ability Surge Surfer paired up with Miraidon might be kind of cool because, like, you know, it's a super fast electric mon in electric terrain. Outside of that, I don't know. If it gets Rising Voltage back, maybe there's a place for it. I don't think any of these guys are going to see play. Hisuian Arcanine. Arcanine, so Fire Rock is a really good typing, right? Obviously it has Intimidate, but it also has Rockhead. Now, the cool thing with Rockhead is you have these like 2 really cool moves, yeah? You got this one called like Flare Blitz, and then there's a Head Smash it's got? Yeah, Head Smash. So it doesn't take recoil from these 2 moves. So this mon with Scarf and like a pretty decent attack stat might be able to do something, but I don't see it getting play over regular Arcanine just because of its weaknesses. Like, it's obviously 4x weak to ground, which is like bad. But in saying that, there's always this thing called Terra. Do you get extreme speed actually? Yeah. Oh, you do get E-speed. Maybe there's a world where this thing's good. It's got decent bulk, decent speed, like pretty good HP. Yeah, like maybe this thing actually gets play over regular Arcanine, but I highly doubt it. I think if Arcanine's like in the meta, I think it's definitely gonna be regular. Slowbro could be a kind of cool Trick Room. Alolan Muck, I don't know. I feel like there's too much power creep for Muck to be good now. Yeah, that's my take on that. Really good typing, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be all that just because of how strong the meta is. Electrode, dude, they've done you dirty, man. Really good speed stat, and that's about it. Not going to be a good mon. The Alolan Birds, so the Galarian Birds. Look, I think Moltres has always been the best, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think Zapdos just got Tailwind, right? Let's have a look here. Zapdos, do you get Tailwind now? I feel like this just got Tailwind, right? Yeah, so that gets Tailwind. Does Moltres get Tailwind? So he also gets Tailwind. So like maybe they're all like kind of decent. The Galarian Zapdos is definitely my favorite of the 3. I think Moltres is probably going to be the best just because it's like the best bulky one, I guess, with like the most reliable ability. But it's saying that Articuno with Terra now could also be kind of decent, but I don't think these 3 see that much play at all. Maybe Moltres does, but that's about it. Now Typhlosion. So this is an interesting one. So originally I didn't think this mon would be all that, But I think if you were to add Typhlosion into the meta today, this one's actually pretty damn decent. So obviously, you know, you drop this down, you have a look at this, you know, it's Ghost Fire. Ghost Fire is a fantastic offensive typing, like really, really damn good. And then you just look at these stats, 119 special attack. You're not Charizard anymore, baby. Like, yeah, you know, you lost some speed, but this is like a really, really good stat, man. You look at something like this, you go like Modest, you pair this up with like a, you know, a Prankster Tailwind user, and all of a sudden you're just throwing off fat eruptions. Like, you think about the meta right now, right? It's like, okay, E-Speed doesn't touch this thing. Sucker Punch does mess it up. You know, Power could obviously like mess this thing up, but then you start looking around, right? And it's like, oh, maybe you go, you know, maybe like a Terra Dark or something like that. Don't think it's very good, but like Eruption, right? You got Overheat as well, which is kind of cool. Obviously you got access to Shadow Ball. Like, this mon is going to be an insanely good offensive mon. I think if it's released before the power creep gets too much, like this is going to be the best Eruption user we have in the game. Like, without a doubt, best Eruption user. Galarian Slowking, similar to a Galarian Slowbro, could be like a decent Trick Room mon. I don't think it's going to be all that. Hisuian Samurott, look, I won't touch on it. It's basically the same as Cleaver. I don't think it's going to be all that. Lilligant is actually pretty cool. Lilligant is definitely a mod I think has a lot of potential. Again, especially if this thing comes in a format without restricteds. Like, if this comes in before DLC in the current meta right now, this is probably going to be the best Chlorophyll user. You look at it, has 105 speed, pretty decent, 105 attack, pretty decent, but then it has this move called Victory Dance. Oh yeah, I had it, damn. Victory Dance. Dude, Victory Dance is just physical Quiver Dance. Like, this thing is like really damn good. Like, Grass Fighting is actually like pretty good. Does it get Solar Blade? I think it gets Solar Blade, right? Yeah, it gets Solar Blade in the sun, which is insane. It gets access to close combat, protect. Man, this one, if this gets in, something like this set right here, I'm telling you boys, is gonna go freaking sicko mode. Because, like, again, the best thing about this is like, you know, you're weak to, again, you're weak to flying, right? Like, you get messed up by flying. You're going to play in the sun. Maybe you go, like, I don't know, Terra Water, something like that. And then, you know, like, you don't, like, this mod's so quick, too. Like, it outspeeds everything it needs to. You could run Adamant. Like, this thing, it outspeeds everything, right? Bang. You get off a Victory Dance, and it's just GG. Like, this one could be really, really damn good. And that's another one I'm really excited to play with, especially if we get it in a format where, you know, the power creep isn't crazy. My guy, Zoroark. Zoroark is actually another mon. Zoroark is like, I would say it's the mon I'm most excited for if I thought it was competitively viable. Competitively viable. That was awful English. So it has like one of the greatest typings of all time, right? You know, Ghost is weak to Ghost, Normal is immune to it. You know, Normal is weak to Fighting, Ghost is immune to it. Like, it covers its weaknesses really, really damn well. It is like the perfect counter to Fluttermane as well. Like, you can't Shadow Ball this thing, and it's just gonna like revenge kill you. The only issue I have with Zoroark is like, I think there's only gonna be like one decent set on this thing, and it's not Focus Band, that is for sure. It is Focus Sash. Like, you go like Focus Sash, you've got like Hyper Voice, Hyper Beam, Shadow Ball, right? Like that's it. Does it actually, what's its signature move? Bitter Malice, right? Like, maybe Bitter Malice is like good. Maybe there's some world where Bitter Malice like does something. Like, I could see this being good if they like were to say like, hey, Reg 4 is gonna be Series 1 plus Hisui. Like that, I think that would be the best way to introduce Hisui, is give us the like regular format, no Paradox Mons, no Ruin Mons, nothing, and then just slap Home in there. Like, I think that would be the best way to see some of these Mons shine. And Zoroark, like, I'll definitely try to make it work. I'm just not super optimistic, sadly. Next one, Braviary. Braviary is another really cool mon, actually, because, like, the thing with Braviary is I've seen some people say it's, like, its other form is just better. Like, what this mon has, it's, like, a really good HP stat with, like, pretty average defenses, but it's because of its HP, it's pretty bulky, it gets Tailwind, yeah? But what I think makes this one so good and something you have to be really worried about are these two here, right? Sheer Force and Tinted Lens. Now, Tinted Lens is really cool, because I think the way you're gonna, like, play this thing is basically, God, Scott, I'm so bad, is click this move right here. 80 base power psychic move with a 100% chance to raise your own speed, and it has a high crit rate. Does it get focus energy? Nah, it doesn't get focus energy, damn. But yeah, like, actually, it's high crit rate, so you don't even need it. Maybe you just go like, something like this, yeah? And if they let you, like, if they let you get +1, all it takes is +1, and then it's like, okay, maybe he's actually, like, kind of scary, yeah? Does it get Calm Mind? It probably gets Calm Mind, right? Yeah, it gets Calm Mind. If you ever get like a Calm Mind into like 1 or 2 Esper Wings, man, it's GG. Like, if you look at this speed stat, what do you hit with Timid? That's pretty average. But if you get like somehow Carmine into 2 Esper Wings, it's GG, man. Like all of a sudden you're gonna just like sweep. I don't think it's that good. But I definitely think there's a place, and I definitely think you could make it work. If you were to run like Vivillon, Mousehold, Amoonguss, and just let it click, you know, some Esper Wings, maybe it does something, yeah. And then you just need like, do you get like Aura Sphere? You basically need a fighting move. Do you get any fighting coverage? No, you don't. So yeah, no. So like maybe Terra Fighting, just so you can hit Steel and Dark types. But yeah, look, I think it's a cool mon. I don't know how good it's going to be though. I definitely think you can make it work. Let's just say that. Hisuian Gudra, everyone's favorite new mon. Gudra. Basically, this takes bad Gudra and makes it pretty damn decent. The only difference is really it gets shell armor, which I don't think you're gonna run. Look, shell armor is like still a decent ability. Same with Sap Sipper and Gooey. I think all its abilities are good. It's just all of a sudden it gets the steel typing, meaning it's like actually kind of insane. Its stats are like kind of good. What special moves do you get? You get any cool special moves? Blizzard, just whatever. Chilling Water. Draco obviously is cool. Flash Cannon being stab is nice. You get the Ice Beam. You get the Bolt Beam combo. Sludge Bomb. It has some things it can do. Yeah. Even on the physical side, actually. Because if you get like Sap Sipper, like maybe you like sideways Trailblaze yourself or something like that. Yeah, it's got Ice Spinner, Iron Head. You know, it can do some things. Like I think it's gonna be a decent mon. Gaining Feint is actually kind of pog. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of pog from a support. Like a 3 prio like move on this is like pretty damn good actually. That could be kind of cool for breaking like protects and whatnot. What else? I don't think Avalug's gonna be good. That's basically it. You guys can't see the last Pokemon by the looks of it, but it is just a different form of Vivillon, so we'll leave that there. I guess, look, we'll talk about Hisuian Decky just because it's the last mon on the list. Decidueye, Decky. This mon, it has Scrappy, right? Which means you can CC the Fluttermanes and they're only gonna just resist it. Yeah. I mean, look, its stats aren't bad. Basically, this mon gives me like real big Incineroar vibes with its stats. You know, it's slow, HP stat, defensive stats aren't that bad. Kind of wish it was like 85 and then 90 here or something. Obviously this thing's a special attacker. It gets, is it Triple Arrow? Yeah, Triple Arrow is actually like a decent move, like high crit, 50% chance to reduce their defense by 1, and it has a 30% chance to flinch. Its only issue is it's slow, right? Like it's just not fast. If you look at this thing, it's like base 80. You know, maybe you pair it with Intimidate, slap an Assault Vest on it. Let's just go Jolly. How fast can we actually get this? Yeah, see, like under Tailwind, like you outspeed what you need to under Tailwind, I guess, but I don't think you want to play this mon to flinch. I think maybe if the meta becomes incredibly slow, like there's a world in which I can see this mon being good if the meta is slow, right? Like if it's like a really bulky meta with like, you know, heavy special attackers, like maybe something like this is good. Like it has like no speed though, does it? It's got like max there, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe this is cool. Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe there's a world where this could be good. Like that's actually not bad. Like a set like that, under Tailwind that outspeeds Garchomp. But yeah, it gets Triple Axle. I think you get Leaf Blade, right? Leaf Blade? Yeah. Wait, do you get Focus? You don't get Focus Energy. I mean, yeah. Look, this thing similar to the last guy. High crit rate moves. Like maybe like Scope Lens on this thing could be like half decent, right? You got like Scope Lens, Scrappy. You got like your dual stab. You got like Protect. You get Agility. Doesn't get Agility. I guess like what other physicals do you get? Physical. You get Brave Bird. Brave Bird's really good. CC is really good. Like it actually gets some moves. Gets U-turn as well. Like maybe there's a world where Hisuian Decky Dooey's good. Maybe I play this mon actually. Dude, like I feel like if this mon comes in, like as I was saying before, a format where it's like just Paradox mons. Sorry, just like Series 1 plus Hisui, maybe this thing actually does something. Like it could be actually like pretty decent into that. But anyway, guys, I just realized I've been rambling on for like almost 40 minutes at this point. So yeah, if you guys could, if you got this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let me know what you think about the home update. Obviously, we have some pretty damn cool mons coming in, some of which I'm super excited for. And I really, really hope we do see some of them in Regulation D. But anyway, guys, that's going to be me for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.